and keep your hands to yourself.
That's an outrage.
We have been in intense meetings, and like I said, Bruno is a big hit, but I didn't play in the NFL. Bruno didn't play in the NFL. And, Tone, are you a man enough to accept a menage de trois?
Well, that would be a menage a trois, not
a trois. I don't know.
But,
thank you, Dan.
And that's really a loaded question, Gary. But when the great Brent Jones is in the house,
there he is.
I mean, how can I not? I looked up and I saw Brent Jones. I'm like, Brent Jones, is he not locked out from the KNBR studio? He can't get into the won't let him into the Niner facility. But we allow him here at KNBR.
Tony, thank God for the ruling, because I know that I came into the front door, the guard stepped aside and said, "I guess you're allowed in."
Oh,
now
man.
that the judge ruled in your favor.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Let me tell you,
about 2 hours from now, when they will get the stay, and then another judge will rule, and they lock everybody out again.
That's right. The non-union union will be shut out again.
Well, we'll talk about this seriously in just a couple of minutes. But, Tone, first off, Brent wearing a giant championship shirt, and a typical.
Does he have his ring that I just heard the commercial for, where you can get it personalized? You have a San Francisco Giant ring to go along with the Super Bowl ring.
No, I was a little upset. I saw Larry Bear the other night at the Sharks game, and I told him I've been a fan since I was born. Yeah. I'm from here. Where's my ring? Everybody else gets one.
You did ask him.
And then when the Sharks, if the Sharks go on to win the Stanley Cup, don't you expect the Sharks to give you a ring?
You will get one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will pay. Beg, borrow, steal. I will flaunt it too, Tony.
Tone, the one thing Brent is doing is now, I mean, he's been on this health kick. He looks great, but he's wearing the tight, I mean, it's just like Jerry Rice. Hi, look what shape I'm in. A tight black shirt, Tone, emphasizing each and every,
Under Armour thingies, the form-fitting one.
How much you lost?
Garrett, it wasn't intentional. About 15 to 20 pounds.
Yeah, you look great.
Well, thanks, buddy. I've been working hard. A year and a half, I'm getting ready for the over 50 NFL.
Are you really?
It's going to happen.
That could be underway in just a couple of months, Brent. You go back out
in
there.
fact, I could be a scab, Tone.
I'd rather see you as a replacement player than Guido Merkins and those guys they brought in the last time. Remember that?
I will do it. If they're scabs, I'm going to start working out and getting ready.
Were you playing when Dwight? When Dwight and Joe crossed the line.
I did actually. That was my first year with the 49ers. And Garrett, this is a true story. Down to $200 in my bank account.
Yeah.
I just had made the team by the skin of my teeth. We go on strike. I actually stood up in front of the whole team when we were practicing at Stanford University. And I told them I was going to have to go back. I didn't have any more money. Couldn't pay the bills.
Jeez.
And the strike ended the next day.
But Joe and Dwight had gone back for one game?
Yes.
In one game.
Yeah.
Just looking back, it's really a tough spot to be in because everybody's in a different situation.
It really is true. I think that was an allegiance to Mr. DeBartolo. Mm-hmm. And you have to respect everybody's situation because everybody has different situations at that point. But, to be the new guy, half the guys on the team probably didn't know who I was, but at least I stood up and let them know where I stood. I mean, the reality is, you guys are my friends. I'm solid all the way until the bank account goes to zero.
What'd they say when you stand up and were being honest? Hey, I need to go back and earn a check.
The guy said that was cool to stand up in front, and they respected it. So the good news was it all ended the next day, and it got washed away.
Yeah, Tone, what do you think about this? Again, when this story first broke early this morning, oh, my God, the lockout is over. Now I think it's pretty well accepted that nothing's going to happen until they get an agreement. How do you read it?
I mean, the judge yesterday made the ruling, and then the NFL immediately appealed it, and I'm sure today the U.S. 8th Circuit Court in St. Louis is going to stay it, and they're going to lock. I mean, I know there were a couple players tweeting yesterday, let's all go back. The Pittsburgh Steelers, let's go back to the facility today. Going back to the facility, what's that going to accomplish? Some teams, like I understand the Washington Redskins, did not allow any of their players in to practice today. So, I mean, it's just such a ridiculous situation. I mean, I don't get it. The draft's going to happen on Thursday, and then all these players are going to go up there, and the commissioner's going to shake their hands, and then they won't be able to negotiate a contract.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the craziest labor mess I've ever seen, and we've seen some crazy labor mess.
Tony, any reports from Philly? Michael Vick come in, have cheesesteaks with Andy Reid this morning?
No, Andy Reid had the cheesesteaks on his own today, and he went with with, not without. Of course, with or without. In fact, I saw a truck here in Venice, California last week, and I'm walking down Abbott Kinney Boulevard, and there's one of the big trucks that sell food, and they have the burrito trucks. There was a truck called Taste of South Philly, and it was called With or Without. And, of course, in Philadelphia, you say with or without when you order a cheesesteak. That means with or without onions. But people don't say with or without. They just say with or without. That was the name of the truck, with or without. It's a genius name. I should have thought of it.
No, it's good. Hey, Brent, you're a perfect guy to ask with this draft coming up. If, say, you thought you're going to be a first-round draft choice, would you go to the ceremony?
Absolutely.
You would?
Yeah. And you work your whole life for some – or, people say their whole life. You work since you were in junior high or high school, and you get to the point where you're potentially a first-rounder, and here's the NFL draft. It's become such a big deal over the years. Absolutely.
But is it a big deal this year from the standpoint that everything is in limbo? And why would – at least the way I'm looking at it, why would you want to aggravate the guys who are going to be your teammates or an opponent?
The reality is those guys will forget the minute the strike settles.
As long as you're good, huh?
Exactly. They're not going to hold it against
Tone, would you go?
Yeah, you have to. It's your day in the sun. I mean, the commissioner.
But the sun's not going to be shining that brightly. That's what I'm saying.
Sure it is, Gary. Everybody still wants to be the number one. You're still going to be a number one draft pick after the labor thing is figured out. It's not going to be. How can you hold it against a guy who's going to be drafted in the NFL? Even though the hypocrisy of the owners are not allowing these players in, and they can't negotiate with these guys. I think they only can negotiate from the time of the draft until the last player is picked, right? Yeah. So if they want to get a guy signed, they have like 3 days to do it. After that, they can't negotiate or bring a guy in or any of that other stuff. That's the part that doesn't make any sense. But as far as the draft, why wouldn't you want to be drafted?
Because this year is not a normal draft. That's the thing, Brent. So you think nobody looks at it and says, It's going to be watered down. There's the labor struggle is still on. Maybe I'd be better to stay home. You think these players are going to get the same excitement if they would during a normal year? Then?
Gary, I think it's going to be probably 90% of the excitement.
Okay.
The reality is you're going from college to professional. You're going to be associated with an NFL team, and whether you miss a few games, you miss the spring workouts. I think there's still a big excitement. For the player, for the family, and for all those around.
All right, Tone, I'm wrong then. Again, it's easy to say this when you have nothing at stake, but I'm just thinking, well, if it's going to be one of those years where everything's up in the air, why go to New York and even run the risk of having a teammates? So nobody will play that game.
Brent just said it. The teammates aren't going to hold us against a guy. It's like when a guy gets a big contract. Do some players resent it a little bit if they think they're as good as that guy and they're not making as much money? Of course, it's the same in any business. But sooner or later, you got to go out there and play, and it's the ultimate team sport. So I don't think the draft. I don't know what the excitement level is going to be. There are 25 guys supposedly going to New York. So I mean, the whole don't go to New York, don't go to the draft. There may be more people in New York this year than ever before as far as potential first-round picks. So I think players still are excited about, because whether they hate the owners or not, or they're the enemy, those guys eventually will be writing them checks, Gary. And the thing that bugs me about this whole scenario is that, the hatred that the players hate the owners hate the player. The players are the product. This isn't like, somebody goes on strike at a assembly plant somewhere. The people can be replaced with all due respect to the people, but the product still has to come out. And the product is the players. There is no third party. There's not, other than the agents. The players are the product. So for this whole nonsense of, well, the owners can get along. The owners can't do anything without these guys. They have nothing to sell. Nobody wants to see Jerry Jones sitting in a box with nobody on the field. So to me, it's a ridiculous thing, and much more ridiculous than any other lockout I've ever seen, including the one in '87 when guys crossed the line.
All right, let me try Brent on this one. And again, I'm playing a half devil's advocate. The owners are taking the risk, right?
I agree, yes.
Okay. So, and you work a little bit with the Sharks. And what's your official capacity besides friends with Ralph and make sure he's on the glass?
It begins and ends right there.
Wait a minute, Brett. By the way, did you take care of Gary when he went to L.A. as the only radio or television representative in Staples
Tony,
Center?
Had I known he was going to be there, I absolutely would have taken care of him.
$400, Tony, but it was worth every penny to see a win.
Love the respect that Gary shows the game of hockey, especially come playoff time.
Oh, yeah, especially right about now when the Sharks have moved on to the next round. Gary and I will be doing our annual How Many People Will Be in the Parade in San Jose show coming very soon.
Just so you know, Tone, I'm violating my contract with Ralph that says I'm only allowed to talk Sharks hockey with him. Yeah. I'm going to have a phone call right after I get off the air, I promise.
No, not after you win a series in a pivotal series and you move on and get out of that first round.
Holy
which is
cow.
A pesky
I'm
thing.
telling you what, Tone, that series killed me. There were times where we looked like we were going to win the Stanley Cup, and there was times where we looked like a minor league hockey team. We've got to pull it together and be consistent. 3 periods,
How about the
7
5-minute power play though?
Holy
with
cow.
Just under 4 minutes left in the game, and it carries over into overtime.
It
That's
was
exciting, man.
beautiful hockey. Those whole 5 minutes, I sat there and thought of excuses that I could bring to the table today on why we were looking forward to Game 7. Thank God that puck bounced and Joe whipped around.
Joe
and what a shot! I mean,
the
a
guy's
nice
standing
bounce.
in front of him. It was a weird shot because the defenseman is standing there, and Thornton just whips it around him into the open net. It was like he was shooting around a tree, and he did it.
I didn't see it coming, Tone, and I jumped off the sofa and celebrated, high-fived my wife, and went to bed.
What was Mike
that
Caller
quickly?
doing?
Hey,
No, maybe it was 1 or 2 minutes of post game. Got to hear what the guys say.
I can't let this slip, though, Brent. You want to really violate Ralph? Put him in row 15. Take him off the glass.
Man, that's or don't submit the parking pass.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's $25 at Staples.
I'm
You know
telling
what I mean?
you. Well,
Yeah, outrage.
it's fantastic. We got $25. Are you kidding
at
me?
Staples. What do they
Holy
charge at San Jose?
Holy smokes!
It's
Just
20, right?
Just a mere 20.
Yeah, okay, $25, Tone, at
I
Staples.
remember the last time I went to a Shark game there on San Pedro Street. They had the garage, the parking decks there, and I think it was like what? I think it was free back then. That was a couple years ago.
No,
but that wasn't a playoff game.
Tone, I think it used to be 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Tone, was Amicis in business down there at that point?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Okay.
I remember Dan Dibley and I were bar hopping and having many, many cocktails with great Shark fans.
Well, that doesn't sound like Dibs.
Yeah.
That's not me at all, Brent.
Yeah. Dan, when Tony bar hops, I mean, he just is glad-handing. He's not really just pounding them down.
Actually,
right?
pounding left and right in a Sharks jersey with number 1 on the back and the
Exactly
name.
right.
Fabulous.
Are you
He
serious?
doesn't have to pay for drinks, does he, Dibs?
No way, Brent. I had to
think so.
actually pay for it.
There you go.
Oh, come on, Dan. I'll buy a round every once in a while.
It's me my freebie.
Oh, that is very, very.
And of course,
fun.
what did we hear in the air when Dan and I with his lovely wife were there? Pound it, pound it, pound it. That's all we kept hearing.
Oh, my God. Yeah, in fact, David just walked by. It's funny you said that, right, for pounded. Last thing on the strike, though, and then we'll talk about the
It's not
the
a
lockout.
strike, Gary. It's a lockout.
Thank you. You think the game suffers at all as long as they're ready to go in September?
No.
Brent?
No, I don't
Okay.
think it does. I think it's frustrating.
Even though
I think
you haven't been
fans,
able to look at film and work out the normal.
I think it's going to hurt the rookies, of course, coming in, Gare, and not being able to acclimate to the system, especially the young quarterbacks. And I think that's going to be a situation where those guys are going to have to really work hard to get in the lineup.
Yeah.
And that's tough. And I think, by and large, though, football is going to go on like we've always seen it. And I don't think there's going to be a big issue. There might be some initial frustrations, but right now, the way things are going, it looks like the players are really starting to stack the deck, and the owners are going to have to give in at some point if these judges keep ruling in the favor of the players.
Yeah. Tone, did you get a lot of feedback on your show last night? Because this broke late afternoon.
No, I mean, it broke late yesterday afternoon with the judge's decision. And I think fans are just – I'm trying to get interest up in the draft, and there's some interest in the draft, certainly. But to me, fans do not want to hear about lawyers, and if this was a financial – in this economy with gas prices going up and people struggling to make ends meet, you think people want to hear about $1 billion and how that's going to be decided? I mean, this isn't about – a league that's in financial distress that's going to go under, and we all like it because it's entertainment for us. There's a billionaires who out there who are making money, hemorrhaging money, hand over fist. They're bringing in bushels of money, and the fan at home is going to be upset because these guys can't figure out how to divide it. That's not the issue. If this was a league on the verge of bankruptcy, there was no money, no revenue, but we wanted it, it'd be different. Fans are really turned off by all this legal stuff. They want the stinking thing to end, and they don't understand why the owners, I know they take the risk, but they still have to get this thing done now. The fact that they've had all these negotiating sessions and still aren't even close to coming to a deal is the most ridiculous thing. The owners are losing. You know what they're going to lose, Gary? They're going to lose that 18-game schedule. Because if they drag this thing on and they don't get it done, there will not be an 18-game schedule. That's for sure.
When you were playing, did you dislike the owners? Not personally, but just on position. They're the owner and I'm the hired hand?
I think there was definitely a line drawn between labor and management, but of course our owner was spectacular.
Yeah.
We loved him, so we'd run through the wall.
Was it
for
the
Mr.
money,
D.
though? And I want to say this right, because we all like DeBartolo. Once you meet him, you can't help but like him. But if he didn't pay you guys top of the line and give your wives expensive gifts, would you have loved him anyway?
I think just the way that he included everybody, I think
Okay.
so. I think
Right.
he came into the deal and said, hey, you guys are part of my family, and he treated everybody just like that. And so the money was a nice ancillary benefit, certainly.
You mind bringing this up? I remember you told me this once. I couldn't believe it. Tone, you want to hear breaking news from Brent. And
yeah, breaking news. I didn't know about the $200. I've been down to my last $200 many times, especially in Vegas.
Yeah, no, but I think Eddie was gone, and the team owed you how much?
They owed me $500,000.
Owed it to you.
Owed it.
O.C. Jones.
And I got thrown under the bus like I was working some illegal under the cap deal.
Would O.C. Jones be in business today if you had not been paid?
O.C. Jones would have built a field and named it after me.
Yeah. No, but you owed $500,000. Okay, when somebody owes you $500,000, what do you do? Tone, what do you do when you're owed $500,000?
I usually make a couple of phone calls and some kneecaps are busted, and then
Tone, where were you when I needed you?
Yeah,
I just politely inquired about where my check was.
No, you're owed $500,000, and if you don't mind, because there's what do you say? If the statute of limitations is passed, they just didn't want to pay you because
I think with the transition of ownership, I think there was some miscommunication as to what some of the contractual. Does that sound like a lawyer?
It sounds like you're avoiding the.
There you go. No, and the reality is, I was caught in the middle, Gare. I didn't care what they decided or what was cap or behind the cap or circumventing the cap. I just wanted my check that they owed me.
Yeah.
And so
as Gary would say, get me my money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My money. That's exactly right, Tone. And so it took a couple years, and they held me out. The league, there was stuff written. The 49ers.
They give it to you in lump sum. You got a check for $500, or no? They spread it out.
Pay the
After
government,
taxes
buddy.
and stuff.
Okay.
You only got to get.
What do you get out of $500 on something?
Oh, I don't know, probably $300.
$300.
Yeah.
But you get one check. Tony, is that an outrage? You want to jump on the government for screwing the Brent Jones family?
Man, Brent Jones worked hard for his money, and then they got to take $200,000 to waste it on something that doesn't work. I mean, it's an outrage.
Yeah, I'm looking at Brent. I know I'm going to make him blush, but you don't limp. You don't look battered. You're still happy, huh? I mean,
I'm happy.
But you've seen where the game. I guess that's where maybe you side with the players.
He played tight end, Gary. He didn't have to stay in there and do chop blocks all the time.
Oh,
right,
hey.
Brett?
Oh, every
yeah,
now
but
and
he
then,
went
Tone.
over the middle and got
I know
crushed.
he got
fearless
pounded
over the middle.
That's right. Hey, Tone, you ever see Steve Young's one of his floaters? Holy cow.
Absolutely.
My ribs are still complaining.
So you're saying Young was not a good quarterback?
He's one of the greatest of all time. I had to bust on him.
Yeah. No, but I guess what I'm saying, when you see this labor dispute, you see guys who, when they're done playing, there's nothing left. And you're limping.
It's really
and nothing
sad.
Left.
Yeah. And so certainly one of the benefits, and then I'm watching this, Gary, and you will appreciate this, Tony. The retired players, I mean, it's tough to go back and say, hey, you guys need to take care of us. But the medical benefits, some of these pension benefits, the owners have put some of that on the table. Actually, increased it 60%. So that's going to be nice for some guys when this deal gets done, because there's some guys, like Gary said, that are really struggling, guys my age even. And so it's incentivized me to work harder and get in shape and work out. But there's some guys that come away from this game really battered and banged up. And not only that, they don't have a whole lot of dollars in the old bank account. So it's nice that the owners have finally realized that, and so they put that on the table. So we can't just sit here and bash the owners. They acknowledge the fact that there's been some past indiscretions where we're going to make some things right for some of the old guys.
Tone, what's great about this, almost like our business, they take care of their own, right?
Oh, yeah, and Gary and I, we always talk about battered performers, but it's usually people in our business who like I'm a battered performer some weeks. Gary's a battered performer when he goes to Santa Barbara and has to take the tar off his kids' feet.
Brent, you've been to Santa Barbara, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You love it down?
That's great. How can you
Tony
not love
says
it
when you go to the beach, there's tar all over your feet.
Oh, come on. Really?
Yes, all the time. Guaranteed.
Yeah, no, I got to admit, we were there last weekend, and sure enough.
Tar?
Yeah, they even got it in there.
Seepage. It's called seepage. Dan Dibley knows. Dan, will you remind him about the seepage, please?
Seepage, yes. I think Dan's on remote right now.
Anytime you're on a beach and you can look out on the ocean and see oil derricks going up and down way out there, you know that oil is leaking somewhere, Gary. And it ain't leaking into my gas tank because it's $4.15 a gallon now.
Jesus.
Cheapest gas
hey,
here.
that's cheap in L.A.
I know. Well, that's only in my neighborhood here, where you would think it would be higher, but that's the cheapest gas I've seen.
Wow, that's pretty good.
But it goes up every day.
Yeah.
It's going up every day, every single day, Brent.
Gary, what are you paying? I'm paying $4.99. It cost me $100 to fill my tank.
My wife's
the other
got
day.
an SUV too. Yeah, it's about $110 to fill.
See, if you guys would go out there and buy an electric car, if everybody listening would buy an electric car today, none of this stuff would be happening.
Brent, you don't
then
have an
we
SUV?
bring all the oil
Of course you do.
speculators.
Of course I do.
Bring all the
I'm a
oil
former
speculators.
athlete. You have
Come on, man.
It's
what do you
part-
think he's driving?
Part
at?
of your DNA.
I've got young kids. You don't have any kids. Brent Jones is hauling around no one with an SUV. Tone, your thoughts? Huh? But Tony's been. Tony, we lose you back there? What happened?
No, I was just eating some cereal. I'm sorry.
All right. Geez, what are you eating?
Some good healthy grains, ancient grains, and some honey bunches of oats, which is actually healthy. There's not a lot of sugar in it.
Well, what'd you do to lose 20? I mean, I wish I. What'd
you really want to know? I should be the spokesman for this group. I did a juice cleanse, and it's not cleanse like you'd think. Yeah. Like I wasn't sitting near the restroom 24/7.
But you're not 50 yet. You haven't had one. What do you call them, Tone? The
48.
Colonoscopy?
Colonoscopy.
Man.
I do the cranberry and the flaxseed, right? You do the cranberry and the flaxseed and the lemon juice. I do it every day.
Well, wait, but Tone, you know what I'm talking about when you have the colonoscopy.
Does that go with the Frosted Flakes?
No, but the colonoscopy just runs everything. You take this awful. Tone, you've had one, right?
I've had all that stuff. I had the biopsy. I had the.
Well, you take the awful drink, then you go to the bathroom for 6 hours, right?
Yeah, that's not the juicing
he's
doing.
What you're
he's
doing.
doing the healthy juice cleanse.
Yeah, the juice cleanse. It's actually called Blueprint Cleanse. 3 days. Yeah. The great thing is, all the bottles are numbered. You don't have to think, hey, after number 1, I'm drinking number 2 in a couple hours. And then you drink number 3, and I wasn't hungry. And so it was kind of just a little probably just a nice stepping off point. Lost 8 or 10 pounds, and then just kept going.
All right, and how long did you lost the 8 or 10 in how long a period of time?
3 days.
Okay. But you're
to
miserable,
10
right?
Pounds
you
in
feel
3
lousy?
days?
Yeah.
But
pretty good.
But it's miserable taking
away.
those drinks, right?
You know what? It wasn't that bad. I got used to the taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a
Plus, you
way.
also are active, though, Brad. I mean, you just can't sit around in the sectional at home.
Thanks for acknowledging. I am active. Unless the Sharks are on, I'm active.
What do you do now? What an ex-player. Like, do you ever go out and just play catch with somebody?
Oh, I'd love to go out and toss the ball around. Actually, I told Steve about 6 months ago, hey, let's go have a catch. There's nobody around to throw the ball to.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You do it?
I would.
Okay.
I haven't lately.
You should go right outside, right there on right in front of the goal club and throw the ball around.
I'm actually a little upset. I haven't thrown out any first pitches at any of the local baseball games.
How can Brent Jones? Dan Dibley threw out the first pitch at a
Come
ball
on.
game.
Yeah, you're asking for Mike. Mike is marching around. He can't find it.
That, of course, was 4 years ago.
Was that River Cats?
Dan, Dan, which game did you throw out the first pitch? You remember?
No, I don't. It was a September game, though, Brent, back in 2007 when they were well out of the race.
Dibs, you throw a strike?
Yeah, it was a high strike. It was a strike to Manute Bowl.
Hey, as long as you didn't. Yeah, nice. Hey,
the late, great Manute Bowl.
As long as you didn't one-hop it, though.
Mike, do you have Dan throwing out the first pitch for Brent?
That's all right. No.
Yeah, no, I know not for you, but
Dibs,
for
you
Brent.
go full wind-up?
You got to go full wind-up.
There it is, Brent.
Tonight's ceremonial first pitch, along with his son. Please welcome, from KNBR 680, the sports leader, the Dibber, Dan Dibley.
Yeah.
The Dibber.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something. Wow. Rennell won't get excited unless she feels like it. I'll tell you that much.
It's good knowledge, Gary.
No, Rennell, can you imagine when they say, all right, get excited now? And she, for everybody, she gets, but you never threw out the first pitch?
No. What's
Come
the
on.
deal?
You got 3 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah. And I played baseball. I'm ready to just fire, go like Dibs, go full wind-up, and let it loose.
I figure a guy like you, Brent, would have more pull. This is a definite
I'd want the
shot.
jugs out there.
Tony, have the Giants forgotten Brent Jones? Your thoughts?
Yes, they have. It's obvious they've forgotten Brent Jones.
In fact, I heard Steve Young was out there throwing out the first pitch. What the heck?
Yeah, he and Rice, not 2 years ago, I think.
Was it?
No, I remember opening day a couple years ago, and they had Rice going.
I mean, get somebody new in there.
Yeah, that's when Jerry was going to.
Hey, was Steve Young born in the Bay Area? Did he grow up listening to Lon Simmons on the former KSFO?
That's right. That's good knowledge.
The Giants leader.
Tone, do you sense a bitter Brent Jones that he has been bypassed by the Giants?
But not a battered performer,
no,
Brent Jones.
You kidding?
Just a bitter Brent Jones.
That's
not a
right.
bitter and battered one like we have many.
I mean, what do you have to do?
Huh?
What do you have to do?
Doesn't
Lee Hammer? I mean, Dibs went out. Doesn't Hammer have one of those laying around, a coupon for, hey, we sponsor the Giants, we do all this stuff, we get one free.
No, but he can get you to the front of the line to get your picture taken with a trophy like Gary did.
Oh, no, I didn't. Let me tell you about Lee. If there's a coupon, he's using it. But, no, Brent, I didn't get, again, even the research says people turned on me because I feel that I didn't do anything to earn that trophy, so I didn't pose with it. And you'd be surprised how many people got mad.
You're kidding.
I wasn't knocking anybody else. Do what you want.
I kind of respect you for that.
Well, but
you just can't. You know what? You just got to make sure that you don't wear that ring in public.
Oh, I don't want to ring. No. Do you remember when DeBartolo gave Chris Berman the ring? Do you remember when Eddie gave Chris Berman the ring?
I do remember that.
That was, and again, nobody gets it except me. Tone, you thought that was ridiculous, didn't you?
Not ridiculous. I mean, the people can do what they want. If you
the
want to take a
announcer
ring,
should get one. The play-by-play guys.
The play-by-play guys. I agree. When I last time the Flyers won a Stanley Cup, I told you the story. 1975. I was on the plane in Buffalo. I sat next to the Stanley Cup on the airplane on the Flyers charter back, and I put my hand around it, and I spoke sweet nothings into its ear, and I didn't drink from it, but I never had a picture taken with a Stanley Cup. I mean, it's just not right. I mean, you can sit next to it, look at it, and say, wow, I touched the cup, I was there. But taking a picture with it as a member of the media, I think is wrong, Gary.
Yeah, well, and I thought, and I went on and on about, I remember when Berman got the ring. And again, Tony's right. At the end of the day, it's your business. But, wow, if you didn't travel with the team, spend a whole year, basically he said, back, and Eddie, you're a genius. What did he do except suck up to Eddie, and Eddie wanted to make sure he got in with ESPN? Did he deserve a ring?
I think they were both young in their careers, and
okay.
I think Eddie respected that Chris was around, and so he got one. But obviously he's had to low-key it since then.
Okay.
But,
fans
so
taking
are you guys
pictures,
going to think of me differently if I'm sporting my Sharks ring?
Oh, no, but you're an excellent
with the
executive, right?
organization.
No, I'm not.
Are you not part of the organization?
Yes, but I didn't play. I didn't do anything.
No, but Brent, seriously, you're on the
now I'm
masthead.
second guessing. I was gonna take the cup around Danville.
No. But you work for you have a connection with the team. You got a few bucks even in there, right?
Oh, no, not really.
You just your name
that
got you in, huh?
$500,000 check that he got, he finally bought a piece of the Sharks, Gary.
Yeah, but wait a minute. You don't. Look at this. I mean, just you get by, and I don't mean this rudely, but just on your looks, you can live the rest of your life just being Brent because you were nice to everybody.
Well, it's nice. Enjoy. I'm a Bay Area guy.
Yeah.
I got to live the dream, grow up and play for my hometown team, win a few Super Bowls.
How many guys
mix
can
with
say
the
that,
fans.
Gary?
Tony,
How
are
many
you
guys?
offended that Brent is living off his name? Your thoughts?
No, not at all. He's not living off his name. He's living off his career and his hard work. He didn't just shut it down now. Is he still not working?
He's doing
Is he just
OC
sitting
Jones.
there?
Do your OC Jones thing. Seriously, Brent.
Oh, OC Jones.
Did they build fields for kids? And
Absolutely.
Brent is right at the forefront.
TLC for Kids sports program. Did our big opening in Antioch, the fields there. It was fantastic.
Yeah. You know who's the best sales guy we got, this young man here?
Ryan is the man.
You haven't met Ryan. This guy's terrific, Tony. It's the only guy, if you do him the smallest of favors, he writes you a handwritten note. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
KNBR better lock him up long term because he's going to be a free agent. People are going to come after him.
No, he's looking to get out of here now. How, Ryan? Ryan's looking for FM. No. So one more time. What's that? No, he's not happy. Look at him, Tony. He's not happy at all.
Is he a battered performer?
Well, he's getting there.
He has to wear a tie to work. That's brutal.
You realize how
bad.
much in the last hour he had to walk around. Brent, I'll never forget when you went over the middle against New Orleans. You know what I mean? Does he butter you up?
I didn't have to
all
wear
the
my
time.
Hey,
Brent, can you come in and cut a few spots? Boy, you were great in that game in '93.
Yeah, Tone, it's terrible that Brent makes these guys just suck up to him. It is kind of annoying.
No, it's not. That's what happens, Gary, when you win 3 rings. By the way, I'm sort of glad. I had Shark fans. I got to tell you the story.
Yes,
Brent.
please.
I had Shark fans texting me last night saying, I hope the Sharks lose so that I would have to pay up my bet of wearing a Don Cherry-style suit today on the air here on KNBR.
That's right.
Like,
you did say that.
Why would you root? Because I want the Sharks to lose now.
Yeah.
But I predicted yesterday, guaranteed a stone-cold Shark win lock early in overtime after killing off a 5-minute penalty. I also even gave you the 5-minute penalty, the last minute and a half being bleeding over into overtime, kill it off, and then get Joe Thornton to score the goal and then do the knee slide all the way out to center ice. I love what guys
Actually, he was
do.
on his back, Tone.
Was it his back or his knees, Gary?
You understand the back.
I do. Baby got back. But anyway, I was supposed to wear I said I would wear a Don Cherry hideous suit with a hideous big tie like F.P. Santangelo still does in Washington if the Sharks had lost last night. That's why I'm donning the Brent Jones tight-fitting shirt today.
That
I don't have
it wasn't intentionally tight fit.
Hey.
Tone, I'm telling you, it's shrunk.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm working on. Hey, one thing for sure, though, and Tony, I want you to promise me right now, when the Sharks win it, you're coming up, me, you, and Gare, we're going to drive down
we will be
Market
on the
Street
Gary
with
and I
the
want
cup.
to be on the Sharks because, the Giant float, we didn't go on there. But I want Gary and I on the Shark float with Ralph. I want us all to be
Ralph's going to get it for one day all on his own.
Yeah. Tone, you know I just saw a pass. You talk about Brent losing weight. Yeah, the Giants are one game under 500. Marty Lurie's lost 5 pounds. He can't eat now, so he's sick about what's going on right now.
I'm sick too, Gary. I'm sick that Cliff lost Arizona 4-0 last night.
Flyers Game 7 tonight. Take us out with your pick.
I got to go. I hate to sound like a homer, Gary, but the Flyers, let's be honest, they're the better team. Ryan Miller's had 2 shutouts. Flyers have been a better team. They just had bad goaltending. And Brian Boucher back in the nets tonight, and Sergei Bobrovsky back out of the press box and out of Siberia will be the backup. You've seen the last of Michael Leighton. But the Flyers will win tonight, Gary, simply because it's Game 7. They're at home and they're the better team.
All right, final question for the great man who promotes O.C. Jones, catches him over the middle, and was screwed $500,000. Tone?
Well, he got the $500,000 back, which is a happy ending. We always like happy endings.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Brent, the next time I come up there, we're going to have to go outside and have a catch, though.
Tone, we're gonna have a catch right before we cruise down Market with the cup.
You know what's funny?
Man.
Now, one thing Brent Jones said today that he was going to follow up. He's not going to play catch with you. He wouldn't ride in the parade.
I'll be here. I'm a man of my word, baby.
Okay.
If we had a football right now, Brent, and we went down the elevator, all 10 floors, and went out there on the street, out there on, what's the name of the street there?
The Gold Club? It'd be Howard Street.
Not Howard Street.
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne.
We were right out on Hawthorne, right in the middle of the street, stopped traffic, and we started playing football and throwing the ball down the field.
All right.
You don't think that Brent Jones and I would go down there and do that, Gary?
Okay, man. You know, come to think of it, I'm talking about myself, not Brent. Okay. All right. Tone, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Good to talk to you.
Thanks,
Brent.
Tony.
All right, Brent. Way to go, man. You look great.
Garrett, thanks. Appreciate it.
All the time. And if Ralph asks if you came on with us instead, I'll say I didn't see him.
I'm going to deny.
All right, Brent Jones of the Sharks. Those of you on hold, I'll get to you alone, naturally, on the Sports Leader.